What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Down Once More. I'm your host, Matt, and if you're watching on YouTube, you've already noticed I am recording in a little bit different environment than usual. I usually have my office, I have my nice fuck off sign in the background, and do everything I can to make sure no one is listening while I'm recording, because then it just makes me nervous, anxious, say stupid stuff. This will be the first episode that is recorded in front of a live studio audience, and that is because I'm going on day 6 of staying in the hospital with my wife as they try to figure out some things. So if you see like a slipper come flying in, getting thrown at me, or like a fuck off or something, I did tell her I was going to do like 10 minutes of hospital stand up to open it up. I'm not going to do that, but I am recording from my bed. So there is that. We're going to roll and see what happens. I don't know how long we're going to be here, so that's why I'm like, well, I got to get a recording in, come up with something, maybe interruptions from hospital staff, and I'll get weird looks. I will obviously then stop and cut that from the recording, but then I will tell you all about it when I come back, all of the judgment that they derided me with. So, as I was sitting here, I'm like, okay, I had planned on having more time to come up with what I was going to talk about. Like I said, shit's been crazy. So when I was sitting here last night, before I went to sleep in this lovely chair, I had the idea. I'm like, you know what? I've done like top 20 Broadway songs that hit you in the feels, top 20 Broadway songs, that other things. I think I Want Songs was the one that I did. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do top 20 angry Broadway songs or angry sounding Broadway songs. And so I started going through my playlists, albums, and compiling a list. And as I built my list, I put a playlist together. I started listening through some of those so I could kind of wean it down. And as I did that, my list actually ended up growing because I kept thinking of other ones. So I have like 42 songs total, but I'm going to do my top 20 and then some honorable mentions. And my criteria for top 20 is I only want one from each musical. So no duplicates, even though some may have multiple bangers. Those will make it on the honorable mentions. Also, I have no idea what the audio is going to sound like for this episode. There's a vent that's constantly running that's right behind me. There's ambient noise. There's hallway noise. Don't usually record just with my Pocket 3 and a mic. I usually have my nice little setup at home with my Shure microphone. So we will see. So thank you for bearing with me as we go on this journey. I also try not to look at my phone typically. I usually put everything in a Word doc and have it on my computer so it can somewhat look like I'm looking at the camera. So we're going to roll with it and see how this goes. So let's get right into my top 20. This is a completely subjective list. It's very like skewed to newer, more modern musicals because that's usually what I gravitate towards. So if you have picks for your favorite angry Broadway songs, they're more classic or that you think I missed, drop that in the comments. Slide into the Instagram DMs, come at me. Let's have a conversation. Tell me what else I need to add to my playlist. But I'm going to open it up with one that was a no-brainer because it's basically the song where this podcast got its name, and that's Down Once More, Track Down This Murderer from Phantom of the Opera. You have the Phantoms just kind of anger both that Christine and Raoul, after feeling like Christine's betrayed him, he's been revealed to the world. And then the Track Down This Murderer piece when everyone's going after him, just their anger for the Phantom and who he is. No-brainer, had to make it on the list. I do also want to do a caveat. This is my definition of angry musical songs. It may not be the same for everyone. There's some that are maybe a little more angsty than angry, but it's going to be on here, so we're rolling with it. It's my list. Like it or not, throw it in the comments. Debate me. I will just not engage if I don't like what you have to say. My channel, that's what I can do. Next up, I've got Good For You from Dear Evan Hansen. I have been very vocal about it on this podcast, how the movie adaptation of Dear Evan Hansen made me very upset, partially because of how many songs they cut and the exclusion of Good For You, which I think is one of the best songs of that musical overall. So the fact that it was excluded made me angry. So it definitely has a place on this list. Just Evan's mom feeling betrayed and lied to with everything. It's an amazing song overall. If you haven't listened to it, check it out. Next, I'm going to do Epiphany from Sweeney Todd. Also, caveat, this is how it works when I don't have time to put my notes together and it's just my random list. I do the caveats and the rules throughout it, so you're learning with me as we go. Now I don't remember what it was. I started to explain my caveat and I don't remember what it was going to be. Oh, I know. It's that these are in no particular order. This is just the order I wrote them down and came up with them in my brain. So next is Epiphany from Sweeney Todd, an amazing song. You can say what you will. I don't have specific performances of these songs that I'm calling out because there's so many different versions, Broadway cast recordings, movie albums. I actually really like, even though a lot of people dislike the movie adaptation, Tim Burton's Sweeney Todd, the anger and everything that Johnny Depp pulls into the performance of Epiphany, I actually really enjoy it. I'm not saying that the Broadway ones don't do that. I just don't have as much familiarity with their game. I really like the movie soundtrack version of it. Next is going to be one of my favorite musicals, and that's Meant to Be Yours from Heather. JD at the end, when he's finally just fully cracked, Veronica seen his true colors, and he's just got his full plan to blow up the school and the dance, and just his anger for when she locks herself in the room. It is amazing. It is one of my favorite songs from that musical. One of the best angry songs out there too. JD, like all the different JDs I've seen, I've absolutely loved their performances of this, but especially on the West End Broadway cast recording. And I don't have noted who that is, but whoever does it, love it. Next is going to be Goodbye Love from Rent. This is one of my favorite songs from Rent. Is shortened considerably in the movie adaptation, and that's part of why the Broadway recording, the pro shot of it, is the superior version of Rent in my mind. You have the beginning, the anger of all the different couples feeling betrayed by one another or different people within the party. And that is included in the actual movie adaptation. And then what's cut, though, is just Mark and Roger's back and forth with Mark kind of feeling betrayed that Roger's leaving, Roger just lashing out at Mark, Roger and Mimi going back and forth. That whole just kind of that tense and that anger and that emotion between those people is fantastic. One of my favorite songs in Rent. There are more from Rent in the honorable mentions, but Goodbye Love had to make it to my top 20 on the list. I also I'm making eye contact with myself on my Pocket 3 screen, and I don't like it. It's weird. Next is going to be No Good Deed from Wicked. This song, after Elphaba feels like she has lost Fiyero, everything is going on, and just her rage finally snapping and saying, no good deed will she do again, and feeling like she's fully embracing being Wicked and going into that anger. This is one of the problems I have with Wicked as a whole. In the second act, after Elphaba has this moment and sings No Good Deed, we never really experience that. Everything's cut out that would be her being Wicked. Like even in the movie adaptation, when I thought they were going to expand on it some more, which I kind of mentioned in my initial thoughts, I haven't done a full review of it, but the fact that it just cuts to all of a sudden, boom, she has Dorothy in the cellar, prisoner there. She doesn't do anything wicked after she sings No Good Deed, so it doesn't have as much gravity as how powerful that song deserves in the act 2. It doesn't have time to breathe, but it's still a fantastic and just fierce and angry song. Next is going to be, I debated excluding any from Jukebox Musicals on here because I feel like that's a little bit cheating, but this one and one other did make my list, and that's El Tango de Roxanne from Moulin Rouge. I actually absolutely love Aaron Tveit performance of El Tango de Roxanne, just the different films than the actual musical itself put out recording of it. It is amazing, and on the soundtrack, just the passion, the emotion, and the anger and the betrayal that he's feeling comes through in his voice so well, and I love it. So that had to make my list. Also, I didn't double check counting my list, so I think that I have 20 here and then 27 honorable mentions, but I didn't number them. They just have dashes, so they could be off. If you're counting, I may not have 20 here. This is going to be the one podcast that's almost entirely done on my phone. I'm going to edit it, try to put it out. It's an experiment. We're going to have fun with it. Next up is going to be Hellfire from Hunchback of Notre Dame. I love this. It's a fantastic villain song. It is a angry and horny song of the priest that just wants Esmeralda, and basically willing to burn in hell for it. He knows that his lust is going to damn him, but there is anger, there's emotion, there is passion. It's fantastic. And one of the best villain songs, it was on when Brad and I did the villain songs draft. It was on that list. Next is going to be, I had a couple from Les Mis that I thought about, and you'll see that when I go through honorable mentions. And honorable mentions, I'm just going to like fly through them pretty much. So this will be more of a mini episode. But the confrontation from Les Mis with Valjean and Javert right after Eponine died, and just their first kind of confrontation when Javert's figured out who Jean Valjean actually is, and they have their kind of standoff in their battle. Just the anger from both sides and the justification, I feel like, is powerful, beautiful, love it, made it to the list. Next is also titled Confrontation, and that's from Jekyll and Hyde. And I absolutely love this towards the climax of the film when the two sides of Henry Jekyll are kind of having the conversation and battle against each other, who the real one is. There is anger, there is emotion, it is raw, and it is an amazing song to see one actor perform. Now, some stagings of it that I've seen, especially in like a local community theater or high school theater, have two different people, one playing Jekyll, one Hyde. But you can watch videos of some of the original Broadway where it's just the one actor and going back and forth, and the switching of the emotion and that anger is fantastic. I love it and made it on the list. One that starts out a little softer and the anger comes in at the tail end is See, I'm Smiling from The Last 5 Years. The Last 5 Years is one of my favorite musicals of all time. Just say what you will about Jamie's character being a piece of shit. Jason Robert Brown, I've heard mixed things about, but I'm very excited. They announced they're doing a concert at the Hollywood Bowl and Radio City Music Hall with Ben Platt and Rachel Zegler doing a concert staging of this in March or April. And so I'm hoping we get some recordings or at least videos out of that, because, well, I don't know that I see Ben Platt as Jamie. I do love Ben Platt's voice. I love Rachel Zegler's voice. So I hope to see some of the performances from this. But the song with Kathy finally feeling a little bit of relief, feeling like she's getting some attention from Jamie. Because Last 5 Years, we've reviewed it twice on here. I did it with Rayleigh and then one with Brad when he watched it for the first time. But it tells the story of their relationship. When Kathy sings, it's from the end to the beginning. Jamie sings, it's from the beginning to the end. So this is towards the end of their relationship. When Kathy's kind of finally snapping, Jamie has stopped paying attention to her. She's finally relieved he came to one of her performances. They're together. She's smiling. And then all of a sudden, she finds out he's leaving. He's essentially abandoning her. And she just snaps, and the anger that she directs towards him is so just pointed and vicious, and I love it. I love it. It's on the list. Next is one that is one of those I said is maybe not as traditional of an angry one, or that you may not think of an angry musical theater song, and that's Heaven on Their Minds from Jesus Christ Superstar. This one, I take it as kind of Judas's kind of anger towards how propped up Jesus has become, how he feels like they've lost their mission, he's lost sight of what they set out to do, and so he has that anger and resentment towards Jesus that's building and everything, this whole posse, the crew around him, and I absolutely love it. So Jesus Christ Superstar, I think, is an underrated show in general, partially because I feel like the filmed versions of it we get are very stark and different. This is one that I didn't appreciate as much until I saw it live. And so once I saw it live and felt that energy from the performers on stage, it took on a whole new meaning towards me. Next is going to be from Next to Normal, another one of my favorite musicals of all time, and that's You Don't Know. And this one, especially the Broadway cast recording, Alice Ripley's performance of it, but then why am I blanking on her name, who did the West End one? That was absolutely amazing. But whoever played Diana on West End, too. Sorry for blanking on your name right now. This performance is when, after it's revealed to Diana that, I guess, spoiler alert for Next to Normal, revealed to Diana that the truth about Gabe, and her husband's trying to talk her down, Dan's trying to talk her down about things, and she just kind of snaps and basically like, you don't know everything I've been through. Like, do you have this? Do you experience these things? Are these things that you struggle with? You're looking at from your perspective, but here's everything that I'm dealing with. And that anger and passion that's directed, I feel like it is fiery. It is amazing. It is very powerful. I've loved every performance of this song that I have seen. So there will be some Next to Normal in the honorable mentions, but You Don't Know is the one that made the top 20. Next is one from an actual more unique one, and that's Brand New Day from Dr. Horrible sing-along blog. The Joss Whedon written, directed thing. Joss Whedon slightly canceled, fully canceled, I'm not sure. But Neil Patrick performed as this Dr. Horrible. It was, you can find it on YouTube now. It was done like a little mini like vlog series, and it is fantastic. If you haven't checked out, Nathan Fillion, Felicia Day also in it. So good. But this song is when Dr. Horrible snaps, and when he finally decides he's going to fully embrace being evil and murder. So it's a great song. It deserves to be on the list. I think it's underrated, underappreciated. Go check it out on YouTube if you don't know it already. Next is going to be another Phantom adjacent one. It's from the sequel, Love Never Dies, and that's Devil Take the Hindmost. And this is the Phantom and Raoul going back and forth, kind of over their battle over Christine and the truth and the Phantom's love for her, or claimed love. And it's amazing. There's anger, animosity between the two of them, and it's a fantastic duet. I absolutely love it. It's on the list. Next is one from a musical I've talked about a decent amount recently, and that's Epic from Jose Herranz. And this one, there's a number. There's some honorable mentions as well. You notice a trend here. But this is 600 Strike. This is towards the end. This is in the, I forget which saga it is. Not the Ocean Saga, the Revenge Saga. I forget the different names. There's 9 different sagas, how it's split up, that are like comprised of 3 to 5 songs. And this is from the second to last one of it, and is when Odysseus and Poseidon are finally clashing. And Odysseus is finally snapping and embracing the ruthlessness that Poseidon has told him from the beginning of their first encounters, telling him you need to embrace the ruthlessness. It's mercy upon yourself. That's what you need to give into. Your mercy is letting you down. And so that 600 Strike is fantastic. Odysseus channeling all his fallen comrades and going into it. So that one made the list. Next is one that's from a concept album from Lin-Manuel Miranda and Issa Davis, and that's Going Down from the Warriors concept album, which they are working on doing a workshop and production in New York later this year. Lin-Manuel Miranda posted about it just this past week on social media, that they've got a script, choreographers pulled together for it, which I'm really excited about. But this one's performed by Kim Dracula on the concept album, and just once they've taken out Cyrus and kind of framed the warriors, and this just anger and loathing for their mission and just this chaos, I absolutely love, and I think it's fantastic and very different from anything else Lin-Manuel Miranda's put out. Like Warriors is one that I feel like tonally, there's some that have the Lin-Manuel Miranda staples and tones, but Going Down and Luther's Interlude, which are the songs sung by Luther, who Kim Dracula plays on the concept album, are so different, and I absolutely love them. So Going Down is the one that made the list, though. Next is going to be one from a movie musical that was turned into a Broadway musical, and that's Say It To Me Now from Once. This kind of like a longing and anger, and it is amazing. Glenn Hansard's vocals in it from the movie soundtrack are so good. And just at the end of it, when he just starts like yelling, screaming, like, so this is what you've waited for, a chance to even up the score. And if you have something to say it to me now. Just this heartbreak and anger in there, I love. It's on the list. And now the last one I have in my top 20 that I think was 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Do I have 17? Am I nowhere close to 20? well, throw some of the honorable mentions in there, say that they made part of it, is the other one from a Jukebox Musical, and that's You Oughta Know from Jagged Little Pill. So completely made up of Alanis Morissette songs. This one at the point in the show just has, the song itself has so much anger and angst in it, and is amazing from Alanis Morissette. Supposedly about Dave Coulier, who, hey, his cancer's in remission, so we can talk about that now without kind of feeling shitty. So You Oughta Know, at the point in the show where this takes place, Joe, they just feel betrayed by the person that they felt they could trust and truly understood them, and so they kind of snap. And it is fantastic. It is emotional. Jagged Little Pill is the one musical I talked about on here when I talked about seeing it live, that everyone walked out of the theater just silent because of how heavy of a show it is. Very powerful, fantastic performances, but it is a heavy show. So I can't believe that my counting was that bad, and I do have substantially more honorable mentions. So pick your 3 favorites. If my counting that I did live was also wrong, pick whatever ones and throw them back in the top 20. I feel like I can't say top 20, and now it's just going to be best angry musical song. So honorable mentions, you have Take Me or Leave Me from Rent, Maureen and Joanne going back and forth, with Maureen's just kind of fieriness and spirit and the kind of different contrast of them as a couple. Take Me or Leave Me, fantastic. Rose's Turn from Gypsy. Gypsy is one I haven't watched fully, but I've just seen these performances. Audra McDonald at the Tonys was fantastic, and I feel like it is a staple, a more classic, angry Broadway song. A couple more from Epic. Ruthlessness, which I alluded to earlier, so good. Different Beast, which is when Odysseus has decided to first start to lean into the being a monster. And then Odysseus, which is in the final saga when he starts wiping out and murking everybody that tried to go after Penelope, tried to kill his son, was plotting to have their way with his wife. And that one, just so much anger from Odysseus. The other couple ones that I had highlighted from Next Normal on here, I Am the One and Superboy and the Invisible Girl. Superboy and the Invisible Girl was the one that almost made it to the list, but I felt like You Don't Know was more powerful and the one that I go to more. I didn't plan it from Waitress. It's kind of angry, it's kind of justified, but I love it. I think it's a great song, so I included it on here. The World Will Know from Newsies. This is more like their rebellious anger, also justified. Luther's Interlude from Warriors, which I talked about earlier. I Say No from Heathers, which is kind of anger, kind of just Veronica standing up for herself and finally putting her foot down with JD and his batshit craziness. This takes place prior to Meant to Be Yours in the song, in the album and the show. Alive from Jekyll and Hyde, I feel like it has some of those angry notes to it when Hyde first comes out and is talking about those feelings and just kind of, and also The World Has Gone Insane from Jekyll and Hyde, from the complete works. It got cut from the Broadway one. But these are also ones where Jekyll, you can see kind of the resentment that he has for humankind. Where Hyde has the resentment for humankind and others, and Jekyll himself, and those start coming through in these songs. And so I really like those and think that those have an angry vibe to them. At the end of the day, from Les Mis, you have that kind of anger and resentment from the workers, all the people, and so I feel like that one definitely falls into this category and is a wonderful song. One that I think could be a little controversial is Your Obedient Servant from Hamilton. I think it categorizes as an angry song because of Burr. Hamilton is dismissive and just being constantly verbose in his responses. Burr's being very pointed, feels like he has been kind of betrayed and done wrong against him by Hamilton and trying to get justice and just communicate why he feels. But Hamilton's just kind of dismissing him and it ends up with them dueling. So I think Your Obedient Servant counts. Next, World Burn from Mean Girls. Regina George finally snapping, mad at Katie, finding out what Katie's been doing behind her back. Fantastic one. This one would be in the top 20 if I actually am short and could account. Gotta Hate Shakespeare from Something Rotten, from, I forget which Bottom brother it is. That's weird to say. But just singing about just his loathing and resentment for Shakespeare, the success he gets, and how he feels like he's overrated and everyone just panders to him, caters to him, and just his anger at him. It's a very fun song. I think categorizes as anger because of the emotion and resentment behind it. I'm Not That Guy from Bloody Bloody Andrew Jackson. There's a couple from the show that I feel like works, but if you listen to it, this is a more smaller scale musical, kind of a rock musical of Andrew Jackson, but instead of like Hamilton telling you like, oh, he's kind of a good guy, this kind of Andrew Jackson's a bit of a piece of shit. And if you listen to it, there is so much anger in the song and the lyrics. It's great. You should check it out. When I Was Born from Cyrano. This is one, I love Cyrano. I talked about it on here. It's one that I find myself going back to, just being a beautiful musical. Peter Dinklage, not a traditional kind of Broadway voice, but this just talking about how he was underestimated for who he is and kind of looked down upon. I really like it. It's a song that is second in the show, maybe third in the show. I really enjoy it. One from a TV show, made up musical, is Lexington and 52nd Street from Smash. This is from the show within a show, Bombshell within Smash, which is about Marilyn Monroe. This is Joe DiMaggio singing about Marilyn, just kind of about feeling like she flaunts herself and doesn't really account for his feelings and him. It is a very angry song, very good, very well performed. Recommend that you check that out if you haven't. Smash as a whole, it's cheesy, it's kind of soap opera-y, but there are some fantastic original songs in it. The TV show, not the Broadway show, Smash. Enough from In the Heights. This one has so much anger and it's such a powerful song. And this is one of the few things I was disappointed with the In the Heights adaptation. One was the kind of stylized nature of some things. Brad and I talked about it when we reviewed it. But this is performed by Nina's mom, Camilla. And that character was completely eliminated from the movie, which I did not agree with because I feel like this song is very powerful and has so much anger and depth to it, so I was really bummed it was missing. So check it out if you haven't. The Broadway cast album of In the Heights is amazing. Next I have two from Spring Awakening that I like, but not enough for them to make it to the top of my list, and that's Totally Fucked and The Bitch of Living. Both of these have maybe more of an angsty vibe than angry, but I feel like it definitely works and definitely falls into that category. So that's all the angry songs that I have. That's what I throw on the playlist. That's what I kind of wanted to come at you with. Let me know in the comments what angry musical songs, Broadway, TV, movies did I miss. Let me know. Go like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff to the podcast platforms at Down Once More on Instagram. My little light just died, so now the video quality is crappier. But hey, camera and mic still work. So, at Down Once More Pod on Instagram, all socials. Follow, subscribe, drop a comment. What angry songs did I miss? What do you think I need to add to my playlist? What do you think your top 3 are? Drop the top 3 in the comments. Those of you who found this podcast because of Love Island, thank you for being here. Subscribers have grown. That is now the Viva Las Villa episode review now has over 23,000 views, which I think has more views than all 200 plus episodes total combined on YouTube. So thank you for giving me the views. So let me know in the comments as well, or the Instagram DMs, what else you want to see on the pod this month. I've been kind of struggling with ideas of things to come up with as I find time to record. So what kind of drafts, what kind of lists, things like that. What guests do you want to see come back? Drop it in the comments. Thank you for listening, watching. As always, love y'all. Thank y'all. Don't forget to go down once more. See you next week. Later.